Hi, welcome everyone to today's Enterprise Automation Summit, EASY21. And you're joining the business track, and I'll be your host today. My name is Karen He, and I'm the Principal Product Marketing Manager at SnapLogic. And we'll have various customers in the business track sharing their experiences using SnapLogic. And first up, we have our very own Dhananjay Bapat, Senior Product Marketing Manager at SnapLogic, who will be talking about the SnapLogic flows. Hi, Dhananjay.
Hi, Karen. How are you doing?
Good,
Thank
good,
you,
good.
thank you for the introduction. Let me share my slides. All right, great. So in today's session, we are going to talk about how you can improve employee productivity across your organization by democratizing integrations. And as Karen mentioned, I'm the senior product marketing manager with SnapLogic for a few years now. And so let's talk about quickly the agenda. So first, I'm going to go through the challenges that you as organizations are facing in terms of enabling the wider set of users within your company to build integrations. Then we'll talk about some iPaaS considerations and architecture that can help you mitigate those challenges. Then we'll talk about how SnapLogic Flows enables or helps in that regard. Then we'll touch upon some use cases that we have uncovered as we have gone through the launch of Flows. And then at the end, we'll take any questions that you might have. So first up, I want to talk about some of the challenges. And so a few months back, we actually partnered with CBER, which is a Center for Economic and Business Research, to do a survey of around 1,000 organizations across US and UK. And we wanted to know about their automation strategies, their investments, initiatives, and results. And what we found out from this survey was that around 50% of US firms wanted to invest in automation to improve the user productivity, which is which is a big number. And so it actually makes sense that users are so it's not a surprise that organizations want to actually enable people even beyond IT to take on these automation responsibilities. So even IDC predicts that by 2024, 1/3 of staff in large organizations will have some kind of automation responsibilities. So that means that folks who are going beyond IT, so those might be your business analysts or even business users who are responsible for business processes, they will be responsible for automating those processes or automating data pipelines, which get data to your analytics stack. And it's good to have these goals that, okay, you want to invest in automation and digitization effort to improve the employee productivity. But is that really, or are you seeing ROI from these efforts? And the same survey revealed that yes, there is a positive impact on productivity because of these initiatives. And over 70% of the responders actually saw that there was a productivity boost as soon as they completed these digitization efforts. And you can say that productivity is hard to measure, but what is easy to measure is revenue uplift, right? So regardless of the size of the company, companies saw a revenue uplift within 3 months of finishing that digitization effort. And you'll see on the picture or the section on the right, there is parity between the amount of revenue uplift that, or the ROI, that large companies saw across US and UK, across the pond. But I think SMB companies within US saw a greater ROI from their digitization effort. So just because you're putting into effort into digitization doesn't mean you're going to get results, or results are not necessarily guaranteed. And you really need the right framework or right structure so that you will see the ROI. And that's why I want to talk about this center of excellence architecture. And this is a center of excellence for a federated model. And on the right, you'll see different business units. And on the left, and all of them are empowered by a small but mighty IT team. So business units, you have set up tasks that they're responsible for, and they are all supported by IT. And because business users are familiar with the process, they own the business process, they are in the best place to build that business logic into the automation or integration. And for the same reason, they are in the best position to actually test those automations. They can escalate to IT for things like accessing new SaaS systems or giving access to new users. But they are also responsible for monitoring integrations because they can quickly take action if something fails. On the IT side, IT is responsible for enabling all these business units. So that is creation and stewardship of best practices and reusable artifacts, because I'm sure you don't want to build everything from scratch. And there are artifacts that can be used across various BUs. They will also be responsible for providing training or providing higher level support. And also, you don't want your business teams to be building tests for these automations themselves. IT teams can provide a framework on which business teams can build up. IT teams do account management, user management, and also test and monitor integrations in production. And what I mean by that is primarily look at these integrations so that none of these integrations kind of run havoc and break the system. And last but not the least, they are also responsible for measurement and quality. With so many integrations that are being put in, they are really the stewards and really champions of quality of these integrations, so that high level of standard is maintained regardless of who is building those automations. Now, to enable that model, so this is only possible when your business users are enabled to build automations by themselves. If that first step itself is challenging, then all of that task of building integrations and automation falls on IT. So that's why at SnapLogic we really we envision this, or we are putting it into practice, this model of a federated integration model. So on the left, you have the SnapLogic platform, which is managed and governed by IT. So IT provides central security governance. And on the right, you have different user experiences for different personas. On the IT side, so on the bottom, on the right side, you have Designer, which is a versatile multi-point integration interface, and also for API management projects. In the middle, you have Fast Data Loader, which is built for business users, and but it serves only one purpose, which is loading data to cloud data warehouses. And then on the top, you have SnapLogic Flows, which is a which is an interface for and user experience for doing application integration. And we are starting off with marketing and sales endpoints. And the rest of the presentation, I'm gonna really focus on flows. So here you see the federated integration model, where a single platform empowering multiple user experiences for different users, and a simple and powerful platform. So SnapLogic Flows we launched back in August. It is, as I mentioned earlier, it's built for business users, and you heard from the product keynote earlier today. So it's a no-code tool, and it provides guided experiences, guided integrations across at every step of the way, so that you are not left wondering as to what step to take next. It also enables easy discovery of common objects for every endpoint, and also it helps you collaborate effectively with IT. I just want to expand on the easy discovery of common objects. So for every endpoint, we surface commonly used objects. So for example, Salesforce, things like opportunities or accounts, which are commonly used. We surface that so that the business user doesn't have to know what. Essentially, they can build their flows and integrations fast. And all of this is governed by IT. IT provides that auditing and monitoring. It also provides enterprise class governance and security. And just to kind of expand on what is available in Flows. So we launched Flows, as I mentioned, back in August, and we have taken this approach of we are starting off with sales and marketing endpoints. And here, the anchor endpoints here are Salesforce, Marketo, and Microsoft Dynamics. While and then we are supporting those endpoints with different category of endpoints like service endpoints like ServiceNow, and more of those are coming later. You have collaboration endpoints like Google Sheets, Box, SharePoint, as well as a local file reader. And then you have a notification endpoint, which is your Slack, Microsoft Teams, and email. And then finally, also want to mention that even though we have started off with sales and marketing endpoints, finance and HR endpoints are coming pretty soon. And I also want to mention that even though these are the endpoints that are supported in Flows today, with the pipeline extension feature that we have added, you can essentially connect to any endpoint, because Flows can talk to pipelines which are on our designer platform for IT. So even if you don't see certain endpoints here, business users can build workflows with the endpoints in Flows, and then for those endpoints that are not available, they can connect to them using the pipeline extensions, for which they will take help from IT. And I also want to mention that we have the ability to add endpoints very quickly in Flows. So IIP, as you know, we are doing platform and Snap upgrades on a quarterly basis, but Flow is evolving more rapidly. So we are making changes to Flows on a monthly basis. So you will see more and more endpoints being added. And we just what we are doing, we are taking a measured approach whenever we add a new endpoint. We are surfacing commonly used objects within every endpoint, so that a business user, when they are using an endpoint in Flow, they will have much easier task of building integrations, because they will be able to solve 80 to 90% of the use cases with those commonly used objects within every endpoint. So I think I mentioned it a couple of times already, but we have launched flows back in August, and and uh, and we have presented it to customers, and we have got great response. And so we'll be adding, and we are hearing their feedback. We are adding more endpoints and adding more use support for more use cases as we iterate on this product. And I wanted to share some of these use cases with you, so that you can get an idea of how you can empower business users within your company. So the first use case that I want to talk about is automated campaign creation. Uh, Consider a marketing team that easily creates like 15 to 20 campaigns, and I'm talking about only SMB. If you are a larger company, you're likely creating many more campaigns. And for every campaign, there are a set of common tasks. Like you want to create a shared folder for your team to collaborate. You want to have a channel in Microsoft Teams or Slack where they can communicate. And you want to be able to automate this process so that you are not spending time doing all of these things manually. So the workflow on the right, it can be done in flows. So you can. So today I wanted to specifically mention Jira. So Jira is not available in flows today, but it is coming pretty soon. So imagine a system that is currently under the domain of IT. That can be, so you can read from so someone who wants to create or kick off an automated campaign creation just creates a ticket in a ticketing system like Jira or ServiceNow. In case of Jira, they'll have to leverage a pipeline that the IT writes. But if you have a endpoint that is supported in flows, all of that will be done in flows. And then once you have created a ticket, that then kicks off a flow, which then creates a campaign within Salesforce, which then creates a folder in SharePoint and also sets up a channel in Microsoft Teams for your team to collaborate. Another use case that we have heard about from our customers is M&A migration or app migration. A lot of our big customers are using either are thinking of migrating data from one system of record to another system of record, or some of our customers are big companies and they're acquiring smaller companies. And every time a new company is acquired, you want to be able to migrate those records from the acquiree company to the acquiring company. And if the business users are not enabled to move those records or migrate those records, all of that burden is going to fall on IT. So with flows, you can now delegate those tasks. You can empower business users so that they can actually migrate these records themselves. So they can take, say, for example, different objects within Salesforce from the instance of the acquiring company to the instance of the acquiring company, and then you can get notified once those migrations are complete and get notified in Slack.
Down to the second.
So those are some of the common use cases or major use cases that we have heard, and it also flows. So flows also empowers other use cases like syncing leads between Marketo and Salesforce, or uploading data from say a field event uh, or a content syndication or third-party event, so from a Google Sheet to Salesforce. Or you can also get notification from a system of record to any of the notification systems. So, for example, your customer success team or your sales team want to get notified whenever something of value changes in the accounts that they track, right? And all of those workflows can be built within flows very easily. So before we go on to questions, I wanted to quickly give you some resources around flows. So if you want to try out flows, please go to snaplogic.com/products/snaplogic-flows. And I also want to remind you that there is a flows demo coming up in the workshop track. And so today in the America session, it's at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. So if you want to see flows in action and see a lot of these features around how you get help every step of the way, how you can easily do transformations without writing any code within flows, be sure to tune in for that demo. You can also download data sheet from our resources section. So resources/datasheets/snaplogic-flows. And also keep an eye out for the flows free trial because it is coming pretty soon. It will be coming in next few months. So those who are not SnapLogic customers can please keep an eye out for the flows free trial. With that, I'm gonna hand it over to Karen, who's gonna go over some Summit resources, and then after that we can take Q&A.
Thank you so much, Dhananjay. So as Dhananjay flashed some of the resources, if you want to try out SnapLogic, there is a 30-day free trial that you can test out, or our IP platform. There's also a blueprint, a 16-page white paper to enable you to deploy SnapLogic fairly quickly. And we also have a complimentary free training certification that you can take absolutely for free. Take all the training and also get certified on SnapLogic. So with that said, I will open up the Q&A section. There are a few questions for you, Dhananjay, and I wanted to ask you. So
Sure.
Flows is great. So when you talk about governance, how can someone from IT monitor flows that business users build?
Right. So because Flows is built on top of the SnapLogic platform, and Flows is an interface for the business user, while IT is doing governance. What we have done is all the flows that are run, you get so all of them are visible from the SnapLogic manager and dashboard. So all of those flows, which are which are similar to pipelines. So you will get details on the execution of flows, and you'll get all of those details fed back to your manager and dashboard. So IT will have that insight into, okay, what flows which of those flows succeeded, which of them failed, and they can take appropriate action based on those things. So if you have some processes built already, so for example, some of our customers already have processes around, so if there are any failed pipelines, they can apply those same processes to failed flows as well, and then take downstream actions.
Okay. And if business users are stuck with flows, not that they will, so easy to use, are there any guardrails that will help them in flows?
Yeah, so I think the approach that we have taken in Flows, I mean, so Flows is built for business users. So we had that in mind that, okay, we want to provide them with help every step of the way, and they are not as conversed with the platform. So the thing that we have done differently is that Flows provides help, so which is it occupies the right section as you are building a flow. So at every step of the way, you get contextual help. So as you are filling details in an account, so for example, Salesforce account, you'll get help for every field of that you need to fill so that you can configure the account properly. Or as you are building a data transformation, you'll get help along the way as well. So you don't have to go outside of Flows to get help. The idea is that you'll get all the help you need within the platform and within that interface itself. So I hope that we'll be able to solve most of the problems that way. But IT users can also log into Flows. So if there are some major issues that a business user can't resolve by themselves, IT users can log in. So you have the same collaboration feature. So you can share Flows with IT folks, and then they can go in and then resolve it errors on your behalf if needed.
And the audience can see that later in the flows workshop, correct?
Yes, that's right. So
Okay.
audience will see the first-hand view of how to build a flow, where do errors show up, and how can essentially teams collaborate in
Perfect.
flows. Yeah.
Right. As it relates to app workflows, right? How can business users do data transformations within flows?
Yeah, so data transformations, yeah, it's always challenging when you want to do data transformations with a completely no code platform, right? So but we wanted to be no code. So what we have done is we have stepped away from any kind of coding language. And if you know Excel, you can do data transformations in flows. So we have introduced Excel-like functions. So as you are doing mapping data from a source to destination, you can perform those, or you can do those data transformations. So you can do things like string operations, like concatenation. You can do like date. You can do typecasting. So you can change data type of one field to another. So you can do all of those transformations with those Excel-like functions. And we'll be adding. So we have a library of functions that again you will see in the demo today, but you will. But we'll be adding many more in the coming future.
Got it. All right. So last question for you, Dhananjay. So
Okay.
we all know that the SnapLogic Flows capability is accessible for all of our customers. They can turn it on right now as they log into the platform. What
Right.
if there are companies that are not yet SnapLogic customers yet?
Right.
How can they get access to Flows and try it out? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, the people who don't have access to flows, so if you are engaging with our sales team, yeah, you can get a custom demo of flows, so we can learn about your use case, and you can hear that. But we'll be launching flows free trial pretty soon,
Mhm.
and so that'll be coming up in next couple of months. So once that is up, you'll be able to get your hands on and try the flow, so business users in your team can try it out themselves, and see how easy it is to build automations there.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dhananjay, for giving us an overview of SnapLogic Flows. And for those who are watching right now, if you want to look at flows in action, be sure to check out the workshop this afternoon. We got our product experts showing that later today.